Coming up tonight on Primetime Local News, more on a rent-a-costume initiative in the border city. Plus, we check out the Alberta College Night for the Lloyd Comp, and our weekly edition of What's Happening.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The Lloydminster Comprehensive High School held their Alberta College Night last night. Our Jackson Fontaine has more on the event.
Parents and students gathered into LCHS Thursday night to check out all the different universities and colleges set up. Each institution is different, so it is important for students to know a little bit about each one before choosing the one they desire.
Yeah, I would think it's very important. It's nice that we have these opportunities because not all of our students can get to, let's say, Edmonton to the open houses. So it's nice that we can bring them here. Students can spend anywhere from 1 year to 10 years at these institutions. So they need to know where they're going and if it's the right fit.
This event gave many opportunities for students to learn more about where they want to go and some information they might not have known about a particular institution.
I like that we get a variety of different courses that come through, and you get to see all the options that you can get with the prereqs that you get here, and also if you go to Lakeland before you go to university, so you know what you're looking for.
It can be challenging when trying to pick a college or career, but it's all about going with what you like and what you would enjoy doing for the rest of your life.
Go with what you like and what you're passionate about, because not with what makes maybe the most money. Jobs, when you're in your career, you're going to have to enjoy it, so go with your passion.
Jackson Fontaine, Primetime Local News.
People in Lloyd who want to dress up for Halloween but don't want to buy a costume have the option of renting one from a local costume store. Our Lane Hoffert has more.
Artistic Dance and Costume on 50th Street in Lloydminster is once again renting out costumes to trick-or-treaters this year. Store owner Lynn Seabury says her costume renting service has come a long way since its beginnings in the late 70s.
I started in 1977, and we just worked out different buildings all over the city for the 1 month. And then we opened full-time in 1991 we opened full-time on the street. And yet we've continued to grow.
Though many people use the costume renting service for Halloween, Seabury says that rentals are not just limited to spooky season. They are available to rent year-round for any occasion.
You can rent year-round, so if they want to have a 50s party for an anniversary, we're here. We do have a lot of plays around and different events, like there's a 70s event this weekend.
There are many reasons to rent a costume for Halloween or other occasions instead of buying one. The biggest advantage of renting is that it's a lot cheaper than ordering a new costume online or buying it from a store.
An adult costume is $40, a teen costume is $20, and the kids are $15. And you take it now and bring it back November 5th.
If you're looking to rent a Halloween costume this year, be sure to head down to Lloydminster Artistic Dance and Costume. They have every sort of costume from spooky to silly. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News.
There are several events planned for the upcoming week, including a concert at the Vic Juba Theatre and a Harvest Hoedown Cabaret. Heather Klages has more in this week's edition of What's Happening.
It's the Thanksgiving long weekend, and there's so much to be thankful for in and around our area, including an opportunity to see live music at a number of different venues. And one of those venues is the Vic Juba Community Theatre, and they've got a great show coming up on Tuesday night. Tim and the Glory Boys, they'll be on stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre Tuesday night with their Canoe Grass Tour. And Tim and the Glory Boys, their music is a little country, a little bluegrass, a whole lot of fun, and award-winning. Last year, they won Album of the Year at the CCMA Awards. So don't miss out on your chance to see Tim and the Glory Boys at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. The show's coming up on Tuesday night. For all the details and to get your tickets, go online, vicjubatheatre.ca. Another reason to be thankful this Thanksgiving weekend is for great people in our community who help out others, who protect others, like firefighters. And you've got an opportunity to support the fire department in Kitscoty. Coming up on Friday, October the 18th, they're hosting their annual steak fry. So get your ticket now for a great night out. You get a delicious meal, plus live music to follow from the Jones Boys. So join them in Kitscoty next Friday night. To get your ticket, just get in touch with any member of the Kitscoty Fire Department. And many people in our area are thankful this weekend for a successful harvest season that is now in the books. And you've got a great opportunity to celebrate the end of harvest at the Harvest Hoedown Cabaret. It's coming up next Saturday night. The Lloydminster Kinsman Club is hosting this big event, and it's going to include a lot of live music, including a performance from J.D. Bixby. So don't miss out. Get your tickets now from the Lloydminster Kinsman Club so you can be a part of that huge celebration coming up next Saturday night. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Many people from Lloydminster and the surrounding areas were treated to an amazing celestial show last night. We asked our viewers to send us photos they took of the Northern Lights yesterday. Researchers predicted Thursday evening was going to be a perfect night to see the aurora. People from the border city, Marwayne, Kitscoty, Cold Lake, Onion Lake, and even as far away as Fairview sent us their amazing pictures. You can view them all on our Facebook page, which goes under the name of Stingray Pets and Weather Pictures. Just absolutely beautiful pictures that were sent in to us, and beautiful weather to experience it outside as well. Not too bad for this time of year.
Absolutely. Definitely a bit of a contrast outside now. You go from all those colors to now it's just gray, but you know, still decent weather for October, +9. Sometimes around this time of year we have the
bit chillier today, though.
It is.
It's a bit gloomy out.
Yeah, maybe one of the less appealing days out there, but good thing we got a nice light show there yesterday, those northern lights. Right now it's rainy and 9 degrees in Lloydminster. The wind is blowing at 9 kilometers an hour. So yeah, a little gloomier day in Lloyd than maybe it was yesterday. You can see around the region here, it's all similar weather. Marwayne and St. Paul there, 9 degrees. Vermilion, 8 degrees. Wainwright, 12. Provost, 14. Vegreville and Edmonton, 11 degrees. Lac La Biche is pretty cold, 5 degrees. And Cold Lake, 6. Now moving over to the Saskatchewan side, you can see it's still about the same. Isle Cross up there, 10 degrees. Pierceland, 8. Green Lake and St. Walburg, 8 as well. Maidstone, 8. Meadow Lake, 7 degrees. Macklin, 15. And North Battleford, 12. Now, tonight in North Battleford, it's going to get down to -1. And it will be partly cloudy, so maybe not the nicest night out there. A little bit of frost on the windshields. And tomorrow in North Battleford, it's going to get up to 11, so warmer than today with plenty of sunshine and 15-kilometer-an-hour winds, and it looks to be no clouds outside. Now tonight in Cold Lake, low clouds, -2. Not very windy, 9-kilometer-an-hour winds. But yeah, a chillier night yet. We're starting to experience those nights dipping into the minuses there. High of 10 tomorrow in Cold Lake tomorrow after a cloudy start. The sunshine will return. Now tonight in Lloydminster, it will be a cloudier one there. -1 and 13-kilometer-an-hour winds there blowing northwest. Now tomorrow in Lloydminster, it will start at 6 a.m. there, mostly cloudy. 0 degrees, and it's going to get up to 6 at noon, mostly sunny. You can see a little bit of clouds there. 6 p.m. it's going to get up to 9 degrees and mostly sunny. And at midnight, it will be mostly clear and 1 degree. Now, taking a look at the long weekend 3-day forecast, I'm sure everybody's excited to have Monday off there. We will have more news after the break.
was a very interesting growing season in Lloydminster and area, with a mix of rain and extremely hot weather, with most producers finishing or finished their harvest. Our Thomas Wildman spoke with a local producer to learn more with a local crop report.
Today we have a very special edition of the Crop Report. I'm joined today by John Locke, a local farmer just outside of Macklin. He's going to tell us a little bit about the crops in Lloydminster and area and how they were this year for the harvest season. And so thank you so much for being with me today, John.
No problem, Thomas. Happy to be here.
And to start, how was the moisture for your guys' crops?
Yeah, we started out this year almost on the verge of, are we looking at another drought this year? What's going to go on? And when seeding started in April and May, boy, everybody was blessed with some good moisture right off the hop, and crops could not have looked better right off the start. Coming in through May and June, same thing, lots of rain, looking good, and then the tap shut off in July, and boy, did it get hot and dry real quick. I really feel like there was a lot of yield that was left out on the table this year because of that heat and how dry of the conditions it was in April, in July and the beginning part of August.
And so you just finished up harvest. How was harvest this year with both a mixture of very hot weather and a little bit of moisture as well? And how were each of your crops for yields this year?
Yeah, we finished up probably about 10 days ago now. Yields were, for the most part across the board, not terrible. They have been worse. The yield potential was really there for a really big one this year. But that hot, dry weather really, we left a lot of bushels out there with the potential that was there. There was a tremendous amount of straw and big crops out there, but not a whole lot in place of the seed, that's for sure. Our best crops probably this year ended up being our oats. Our barley wasn't bad either. A lot of the early seeded crops, like our peas and lentils, both came off in pretty good shape. Our wheat and our canola really struggled between the heat in July during the blooming of the canola, and then the hot, windy conditions here during harvest. There was quite a lot of shatter resistant crops out there this year that seemed like it didn't really matter which variety that you used. There was quite a bit of pod shatter across most of the varieties that was out there in this area.
And then you guys also have quite a few head of cattle. How were the pasture conditions this year, as well as how were your hay crops?
Yeah, our hay crops came off for the most part, I'd say pretty decent. We'd be average, maybe above average. And same thing, the early rains there in April and May really set the hay crop up for success this year. And on the side of the pastures, they look really good all year. Even through that July heat and into August, it was starting to brown off a little bit. September, we've been blessed with quite a few rains in our local area for sure. We're over 5 inches of rain in September. The pastures held on very good, and with this really late into the season without any frost, the pastures have held on beautifully. We're going to be fine for feed this year for sure, with the hay crop and the silage coming off in pretty good shape as well.
And what is the early outlook for next year's growing season, especially after another dry year and previous years being nearly drought-like conditions?
Yeah, after the last couple of years of near drought conditions or in drought conditions in many parts, everybody needs rain this fall. Everybody's going to need snow cover, whether they want to admit it or not. We need the snow in the winter, so to fill up dugouts and to raise that soil moisture back up to a level where we can grow these big crops and have good pasture and good hay crops for the cattle side of things too. So I think we're going into fall a lot better this year than we have had many other years in the past. The last few years, an example, there hasn't been a whole lot of moisture whatsoever coming in the fall. So I think for the most part, we're looking pretty decent coming into the fall and into the winter as well. And if we get a good snow cover, I think next year is going to be a real good one.
Thank you so much for all the information today, John, and we definitely look forward to seeing a little bit more moisture for next year's growing season.
The Lloydminster Little Theatre is putting on a performance later this month. I got the chance to find out more about Sinners. Today I'm joined by Cornelius Cron, who is with the Lloydminster Little Theatre. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having us. Me.
And then, so we are here today to talk about the upcoming dark comedy that you are the director of. Can you talk to me a little bit about Sinners?
Yes, Sinners is a play written by Norm Foster. He's often called Canada's Neil Simon. Neil Simon has written a bunch of comedies in States, Broadway, etc. And so Sinners is the story of Peter, and Peter is a furniture salesman, and Peter has gotten himself involved with a married woman. And so when the lights come up on the opening of the show, Peter is at Monica's house for the very, very first time. He's very nervous. He doesn't know what to do, and she finally convinces him to make their way to the bedroom when her husband comes home. And so hilarity ensues after that, complications, all your typical farce things, slamming doors, confused people like being mistaken for somebody else, mistaken identities, sexual innuendo, all of that fun stuff that you expect in a farce. But there's a little bit of a twist in there. I won't give too much away, but it is a little bit dark. We are talking about infidelity. We are talking about I'm going to say maybe murder, a death. So there is.
But you don't want to give
I don't want to give too much away, but there is some fun stuff in there that is hilarious, but also a little bit on the darker side, maybe a little bit taboo that we don't usually talk about.
For sure, sounds like a great performance to check out. I wanted to talk a little bit about what the Lloydminster Little Theatre was for those who are unaware.
So Lloydminster Little Theatre has been going by this name for about 7 years. Before that, we were the Vic Juba Community Theatre Players. And so that's a bit of a mouthful. Plus, we don't necessarily just perform at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. So we have changed the name. We've done a bunch of shows in Lloydminster. If you've seen an adult production of something in Lloydminster, it was probably a version of the Lloydminster Little Theatre. So we're a group of local community members, not just Lloydminster, the outskirts as well. We've got people who are doing this on a volunteer basis after their regular lives, after their jobs, that kind of thing.
Yes, and this is, as you alluded to, this is a very local production, and with you being the director, can you talk a little bit about your personal emotions tied towards directing this show?
It's a fantastic show. It made me laugh. I personally was actually in it when 20-some years ago, and so I always have fond memories of it. And we get to make new memories with some new cast members. So we've got people that I've worked with before that I've always enjoyed working with, and then we've got some people that haven't worked together before. And so it's a great opportunity to expand our own network, have some fun, and make some new friends, and then share it with the community and entertain the masses.
Well, it sounds like a great time. Lastly, I'd like to hear all the information regarding this play, when it's happening, where it is, and how to get tickets, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So the show is October 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th. The Thursday, Friday, Saturday are evening performances at 7 p.m. The Sunday performance is a 2 p.m. matinee. Everything takes place at the Legacy Center. They've been kind enough to donate the space to us, and we're very thankful to them. And so you can get tickets at the Legacy Center in person. You can also get them online at Eventbrite. The cost for a ticket is $30. On Eventbrite, we're just asking that you pay for the technical fee of ordering online. We will also definitely have tickets on sale at the door. So if you can't make it to Legacy Center ahead of time, if you don't want to pay those extra $3 for the transaction fee, you can just show up on that night and bring your money, and we can provide you a ticket and a seat and a great evening.
And yeah, it sounds like it will be a great evening for any of those nights, and that is all the time that we have today, all the questions that I had for you. So thank you again for taking the time to talk to me about this.
Awesome, thanks for having me again.
And we'll have more Primetime local news after the break. A man who once lived in the Vermilion area has released his first book. and will be in Lloydminster next weekend for a book signing event. Stacey Comer spoke with him to find out what inspired him to write Echoes of the Red Earth.
I have a special guest joining me today on Primetime Local News. Author Cornelius Van Dyke is here. Cornelius will be making his way to Lloydminster here coming up for a book signing. Cornelius, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, this is my first book, and I'll show you the title right here, Echoes of the Red Earth, if you can see it there.
Absolutely. And can you tell us about the book, Cornelius, without giving too much away? Tell us about what the book is about.
Okay, so the book is about Echoes of the Red Earth, and based on some of my readings about people were created from the red earth, and the echoes are the stories. So it's a continuation. The very first chapter in the book kind of explains a little bit about it. It's called The Past is the Future. And I was sitting in there one day, looking after the boilers at work on a night shift, and I thought, you know what, if we lose everything, we go back to the past. We'll have to start all over again. And as we go, we'll turn into the future again, but we'll still be in the past. And that's my first chapter. And then my first basic story. And then the next one's kind of evolving that. And then the last one is the 12 ships. And I wrote this one kind of during COVID to show division between people. And the basis of the book is to basically make people aware of different divisions of people. Like we think people are a certain way because of our perceptions based on what they are, or what the surroundings are around them. So the basic idea of the book is to make people aware that not everything is what it seems, right? And then some of the descriptive language in there, like some people like description. If you look in the back, I don't know if you can see the stained glass piece I did. That's one of the first stained glass pieces I did, and it's also kind of, I did it about the same time as the book, and it comes with me on my I set it up on my table, which if you Google it, you'll see Cornelius Van Dyke author on the table, the thing, right? And the stained glass too, it protects different pictures. It's got 4 different seasons, and the center is it's 4 kayaks going through, and on the one picture you got sheep on there. You can't really see it, but it's black sheep with white faces and black sheep with white with black and black with white faces, right? Explaining the differences in people and cultures. And one of the things, like as we travel through our surroundings, like people say to me, they say, I never seen you as a writer. I'm a welder. I took welding. I'm a farmer and a welder. I took my welding courses at Vermilion College quite a few years back, actually. Mm-hmm. And so, just because they think we are they think, we can produce art because that's what life is all about. Whatever we're doing is producing art, writing books, drawing pictures, welding, janitor, it's producing art. And the more we produce it and the better off we are in producing it, the better our art will become. So my next book series, I'm working a little bit better on it because this was my first.
Right.
So as we keep going, we'll produce the art. And we're going to get negative comments. We're going to get positive comments on that. That's what I found out. And remember, the positive comments we get, that's where we take our inspiration from. The negative comments we get, that's where we say, hey, I should not take this to heart. I should learn from this. So, and as we get that current going, our battery, we get power. We'll get power. It'll keep going. And that's one of the things about doing these readings, or not readings, but book signings and readings, is to make people aware of the book. Because honestly, I was just going to do it, let it slide kind of, but there's so many to choose from, so many books to choose from. Why would you pick this one over another one, right? So, and that's the thing. And that's with anything with what we do, because there's lots of competition, options, whatever. So, so.
Well, and you're coming to Lloydminster on the 19th of October to Coles. So when people come into the store, you're going to sign your book, and you can talk a little bit about it to them and have discussions? Is that what the plan would be?
Yeah, that's the plan. And I think I'm going to be sitting outside the mall. That's what I understand, or just outside, because I think it's a small store. I've actually never been there, maybe years ago, but it'll be my second book signing. My first one was Red Deer, so the first one was a little bit nervous. So how do you draw the people in, right? So without being too pushy or kind of like being let them come to you, right? So, and have the display table be friendly. Like if they want to buy a book, don't have to buy a book, right? Take a
Right.
card, whatever, right? So, but the big thing is to meet people and learn from this and create a positive experience, and so people can, you know, be inspired maybe in what they do. Because right now a lot of people have come up to me, I want to write a memoir, right? Because they really want to write a memoir. And in this day and age, it's so easy to write. We have so many options, right? I mean, like we don't write with the quill pen anymore, or the paper and pen, right? So, and there's so many things that will help us write. And I started out on my own without even knowing anything. I only showed this to a few people. They really liked it, and then when it got published, I showed it to a few more. I mean, I had some really good feedback. I mean, I seen one comment that was not so good, but I mean, that's there, right? So
Well, and like you said, you're going to get that with anything. So,
right.
Cornelius, we're looking forward to seeing you here on the 19th. And if people are looking forward to learning more about you, or if they want to find out more about the book, where can they find that? I know you have a Facebook page going and also a website. And if you could maybe give the spelling, because your last name is not the common spelling of Van Dyke.
Yeah, it's actually the Dutch spelling, and my parents are Dutch immigrants, so it's the last name Cornelius, Cornelius, and Van Dyke, and then Dijk. And if you just put that in there, Echoes of the Red Earth, you'll come up with a whole list of books. You can even buy it in Sweden if you want online. Friend of mine did. Friend of mine bought it in Holland. So
All right. Well, Cornelius, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck with the signings that you have coming up. And we'll chat again when your next book comes out.
sure. Okay. Thanks a lot for.
Coming up after the break, our Lane Hoffert will have another look at our evening weather forecast.
Welcome back. We're going to take another look at your weather here. You can see 8 degrees in Lloydminster and a cloudy day out today. The wind is blowing at 19 kilometers an hour, so it'll be enough that you can feel the wind. And like I said, those clouds are really prominent today. And throughout the region, you can see all the temperatures are kind of the same. Edmonton, Rocky Mountain House, and Red Deer are all 11 degrees. Edson 12 degrees, Jasper 13, Whitecourt 10, Athabasca 8, and Cold Lake 6 degrees. Now taking a look on the Saskatchewan side, Meadow Lake is 6 degrees, Prince Albert and North Battleford both 12, Melfort 13, and Saskatoon 14. Moving up north, Uranium City 7 degrees, Stony Rapids 9, Wollaston Lake and the Losh, as well as Buffalo Narrows 10 degrees, and South End, Reindeer, and Flin Flon are sitting at 12. Now back to Alberta here up north. High level, 11 degrees, Fort Chipewyan and Fort McMurray, as well as Peace River, 12, Grand Prairie, 13, and Slave Lake, 9. Moving down south, a little bit warmer there in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat at 18 degrees. Coronation, 13, Banff, 12, and Calgary, 11. Now looking once more in Saskatchewan, Kindersley, Swift Current, and Regina are all sitting at 16 degrees. Yorkton 14, Moose Jaw 17, and Estevan 15. Now tonight's forecast in North Battleford, going to be down to -1. So yes, a frostier night there, partly cloudy. I guess that's kind of comes with the territory of it being October. You can see Cold Lake -2 with some low clouds. Fortunately, the wind is not going to be that fast, just 9 kilometers an hour. So probably not quite as noticeable as, 19, which is what it is here in Lloyd. Now tonight in Lloyd, it will be -1 and mostly cloudy with 13 kilometer an hour winds blowing northwest. So a little windier here than it is in Cold Lake and North Battleford. Now we'll take a look at the travel forecast throughout the region. Meadow Lake and Paradise Hill are both -2. Meadow Lake going to have more rain than Paradise Hill. And Bonnyville and Isla Cross there sitting at -1. Cloudy to mostly clearing. Provost there, -2 as well, and partly cloudy. Now taking a look at some more temperatures. Pierceland is going to get a decent amount of evening showers there, 60% chance. -2 in Myrnam and Pierceland. Unity -1 as well as Calgary. And Wainwright -3 with the partly cloudy in most of those areas. Now the 7-day forecast, we like to see a lot of suns there. You can see next Thursday there will be some rain, but Saturday, Sunday, and Monday should all be nice days for the Thanksgiving long weekend, with those temperatures staying between the low 10s there and getting to the mid-teens there, 16 on Monday.
It's nice to see sunny weather for a long weekend. It's not the warmest temperature, but honestly, for mid-October, it's better than we could be expecting, honestly. So
absolutely. You know, sometimes in mid-October, we're getting snow, so always nice to still see the sun out there, even with a few clouds.
Exactly. And that's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks for watching and have a great night.